There have been a number of hearing actors nominated, even winning awards for playing deaf characters. And for a deaf actor who has worked their entire life to make it to the big screen, that's really tough. And that's why actor Troy Kotsur is raising his hands and the roof, because he is making history as the first deaf male Oscar nominee in a supporting role for the film CODA. An incredible moment for deaf actors and the deaf community, because Kotsur's Oscar nom may bring about an even bigger reward: changing representation in Hollywood, wherein deaf actors are given more opportunities to play deaf characters in the mainstream. Earlier, I had the honor to speak with Troy and his interpreter, Justin Maurer. Well, as you know, I mentioned I come from a family of deaf professors, so I'm extremely excited about this interview. Very, very, very excited, by the way. Now, I'm not going to sign because I have a lot to work on in that regard, and so I will leave that to Justin and you, Troy. But I just had to give my personal reflections here and what this means to me. So it's an honor to have you. And when you found out about this nomination for an Oscar, tell me how it felt.
I feel extremely blessed. I've been on such a long journey, and it was my goal to pursue acting, and I feel like I've received an honorary PhD, if you know what I mean. It's really not been easy to get to this point, but I feel extremely honored. And just, it's been awesome. You know, I haven't even touched my coffee yet, and it's cold right now.
You don't need the coffee. You've got adrenaline flowing right now. And speaking of adrenaline,
Obviously.
CODA. Yes, exactly. CODA was also nominated for Best Picture. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, this is two amazing and exciting moments. And this is the first film also led by predominantly a deaf cast to land a Best Picture nom. So just tell me what that means, not only for you as a deaf actor, but just the deaf community and the message that sends.
Personally, I feel thrilled, and the deaf community all over is also thrilled to see American Sign Language being captured on the big screen for the first time in so long. And it's really important to show hearing people what it's like as a fly on the wall and immerse themselves in deaf culture. And really, we had the right team, the right story, the right cast and crew, and it just hit at the right moment. We're so blessed. And this is really unforgettable. This is unforgettable.
You know, one thing that drove me crazy growing up is when people would refer to the deaf as disabled. And my whole life, I had to explain, no, 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 no. This is not a disability. This is a culture. This is a language. So you are sending so many messages out here to the general public. Take a moment just to explain. A deaf person is not disabled. This is a beautiful community and culture that people need to understand, and you are helping doing that, Troy, with this.
It's such a blessing that Hollywood will begin to recognize deaf talent and increase their deaf awareness. And I hope that it changes their perspective. Rather than thinking of deaf people as victims or folks to have sympathy about, it is a culture, it is a language. We have our own language and we have our own culture. And so now with this film CODA, I hope that folks out there are increasing their awareness. For example, if you're sick or maybe you don't want to sneeze through a window, you can do sign language. If you're underwater, you can sign to each other. If it's a noisy room, you can sign across the room to each other. It's really great to sign, whether it's deaf or hearing people, and it's becoming more and more popular as a language.
Oh, yes, and as a kid, I would teach my friends so we could tell secrets in class, but I digress. You know, Marlee Matlin is in this...
During testing,
yes.
Even, maybe. Maybe during the test. Be careful.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I hate to say I kind of tried that once, but okay. Marlee Matlin, she's also in this film. She broke so many barriers, you know, for deaf actors. I also remember years back she was criticized for not signing, and that created a whole nother conversation. Well, we have come so far now. So tell me how Marlee has encouraged you, inspired you, and been a role model for you.
Absolutely. I always followed Marlee's career and her journey. And at Deaf West Theater, where I was performing for many years, she would come and see my performances. And so after the shows, we began to get to know each other. And we both really cherish our craft and our art. And we always said we hoped to work together one day. And Marlee told me, hey, Troy, you're on my bucket list. And so it's such a blessing. We got to have so much fun working together on CODA.
All right, so what's next? I know things don't stop here. First of all, you've got to come away with the win. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. I'm just going to put good vibes out there. But what's next after you take away the gold?
I have several projects I'm working on, but one project I'm extremely excited about is called Flash Before the Bang. And so I will play a head coach on a team of 8 deaf runners at the Oregon School for the Deaf. And it's inspired by a true story. They win the championship in Oregon in the 80s, and as an underdog team competing against all hearing schools. And so deaf and hearing people will work together as a collaboration, and I'm really looking forward to it. Flash Before the Bang, the title comes from deaf runners having to see the flash of the starter pistol before the sound. It's kind of like feeling thunder before seeing lightning. And so that's why it's called Flash Before the Bang.
You know, you bring up such a beautiful point, and that is when my mom was teaching at Gallaudet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it the football team there that created the huddle back in the day because they would all come together and they would need to sign to each other, right? Am I getting my history right? Yes, okay.
Yes, that's completely right. So the opposing team, the brother knew sign language. And so they decided to get in a circle so that the opposing team couldn't see their sign language. And it actually became a tradition in football, and most people don't know that history. It's the same thing in baseball. So Dummy Hoy was a deaf pro baseball player, and he developed strike one, ball two, safe, out, and all of those gestures back then. And then they became incorporated into pro baseball. So a lot of people don't know that either.
Well, people are going to know this now, and it's just beautiful to watch you flourish. And I'm so grateful for this interview. Troy, thank you so much. Justin, appreciate you so much. And big love to you and the entire deaf community and the message that you are sending out on so many different platforms. Best of luck.
Thank you so much, Kira. Love you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.